At some point, the Blue Jays are going to win another series, and perhaps it's here at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona, as they begin a 3-game set with the Diamondbacks. Rogers Friday Night Blue Jays baseball is presented by McCain. We take you to the broadcast booth there. Dan Schulman is with Joe Siddall.
Jamie, you're exactly right. They swept the A's at the beginning of the year, started 3-0. They are just 4-11 since then. A number of things have not gone as well as planned, but really the focal point has to be they got to hit more.
Yeah, they're missing some key hitters, but beyond that, the guys that are here have to execute better. The numbers are clearly down across the board. They're still swinging a little bit average-wise. They're still top 10 in baseball, but with walks up across baseball, the walks are down for this Blue Jays offense. I think what's critical for me is the slugging percentage. They just need to slug the baseball a little more, and that's where the execution comes in. The game plans are there. They know how they want to attack all of these pitchers, but execution is critical, and I think it's very important when you look at the guys that are left in the lineup that are healthy without a Springer and without a Barger. You've got to think of like a Jesus Sanchez. This is a guy that can get the ball in the air a little bit more and do more damage. Okamoto is another one, and of course, every day we're talking about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. As good as he's been across the board, the power has to come back for this lineup to get going.
Here's the thing about the game tonight, though. It does not figure to be easy because the opposing starter, the starter for the Diamondbacks tonight, is a good one. During the WBC, Michael Soroka was friend. Tonight, he is foe for most of you watching tonight. The Calgary native is off to a good start. It's the opener, Jamie, between the D-backs and the Blue Jays.
I can sense a lot of Canadians will be cheering against the kid from Calgary. That's the Friday Focus presented by McCain. Together is golden. In the loss in Milwaukee yesterday, you saw Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the 8th inning get his one hit in the ballgame. It was the 3 previous at-bats that you want to focus on. Seems to illustrate some of the frustration. And Joe and Dan talked about the lack of slugging right now. Seems to illustrate what the Blue Jays are going through.
Yeah, when you see Vladimir Guerrero taking bad swings and getting set up like he was, they stayed away primarily, you could tell. And he was trying to go that way, do something, spark it up, but you could sense his frustration. And these sliders are nasty. It'd be big league curveballs. Good ones are hard to hit as they are. And when you make a good hitter like this look that bad, you could sense his frustration. See him just whirling the bat around. He's so pissed off right there. And then he hits into this double play. You know, when you, the danger of this is when everybody starts trying to be a hero instead of putting good at-bats together. That's what we need to see.
His lone hit came in the 9th to lead off for the Blue Jays, but they couldn't bring him around, and ultimately the Brewers win that game. As Michael Soroka takes the mound, knowing he'll face Guerrero Jr. as the 3rd hitter, what must he be thinking?
Well, like I said, coming off that last series, confidence it should be with the pitchers going in, going like, these guys are cold, and you're going to attack them until they prove you differently. So I think Soroka being a strikeout pitcher, we're going to see him attacking heavy very early on.
All right, let's get you back to Chase Field in Arizona, where Arden Zwelling is with Shai Davidi.
Well, Shai, it has been such a star-crossed career for Michael Soroka. It feels like forever ago, that rookie season with Atlanta when he was getting Cy Young votes. And then he has the 2 Achilles ruptures, a lot of soul-searching. And now the guy that the Blue Jays are going to see here tonight, he's much different.
Yeah, very different. And he spent the past couple of seasons really training himself to be a different kind of pitcher, a bit more of a power guy. But he's also a little bit different this season than the previous 2, because now that he is established himself as a power guy, he really learned that he can't just rely on the 2 pitches he's really used the past couple of years, which is his fastball and his breaking ball, and he's added a cutter this year. He's trying to use some more of his secondary stuff. This is something that he picked up from his brief time with the Cubs last year. They said, hey, you can spin the ball really well. These movement profiles will really help you. They'll get hitters off your main 2 pitches. And that way, it's a little similar to what Dylan Cease is doing this year, where he's just trying to expand his repertoire a little bit so hitters aren't as locked in on fastball slider. So the Blue Jays will have to contend with that tonight against Michael Soroka, and something that has gotten him off to a pretty good start so far.
He's found something, Shai, because he's throwing harder than he ever has. He has the highest strikeout rate of his career. The Blue Jays are going to have their hands full here tonight, Jamie.
That they are, so we're set to go for the first of this 3-game series. Jesus Sanchez will be back in the familiar 4 spot for the Blue Jays as they try and open this series with a victory against the Diamondbacks. Stay tuned as Rogers Friday Night Blue Jays baseball presented by McCain comes your way right after this.
$4.99 matzo burger today.
With Rogers, Canada's best 5G Plus network.
Welcome to the desert, welcome to Phoenix, and welcome to Rogers Friday Night Blue Jays baseball presented by McCain. The Blue Jays and the Diamondbacks. Arizona just back off a 9-game road trip. They took 2 out of 3 from the Mets, 2 out of 3 from the Phillies, 2 out of 3 from the Orioles. They're feeling pretty good about things. The Blue Jays need a win. They have lost 5 consecutive series after their season opening sweep of the Athletics, but again, as we mentioned, it is not going to be easy tonight. Michael Soroka is healthy and pitching well. Here's a look at the Blue Jay lineup that he will face tonight, including the former Diamondback, Dalton Varsho. You can't blame Varsho for what's going on offensively right now. He has been red hot over the last week. Lenyn Sosa gets another start, DHing and hitting in the 5 spot. Andres Jimenez swinging the bat well and with good numbers against Soroka in his career, up to the 6th spot in the lineup, Joe, tonight.
Michael Soroka is 28 years old from Calgary, Alberta. He was a first-round draft pick of the Atlanta Braves back in 2015. He's in his 7th big league season, and as you can see, it's going quite well early on. 3-0 with that ERA under 3 in his 3 starts. His strikeout rate is as good as any in baseball at this time. Signed with Arizona as a free agent. We saw him pitching for Team Canada in the World Baseball Classic, making his 4th start here. His last one, he gave up a career or season-high 4 runs, but pitched around it to earn the win. Defensively behind Soroka this evening, Tim Tawa gets the start in left field, Jorge Barrosa in center, and Corbin Carroll is an exciting player in this game in right. Nolan Arenado and his 10 gold gloves at third base. Geraldo Perdomo at shortstop. There's an excellent player as well. Vargas at second, and Jose Fernandez, the youngster, at first. James McCann, the 13-year big league veteran, gets the start behind the plate.
Carroll, as you say, is a very exciting player. He is not the biggest guy in the world, far from it, but he's got great speed. He hits the ball hard. He gets it in the air. He's a triples machine. He's a threat to steal bases. And he is one of the reasons why the Diamondbacks are a team to be reckoned with. They've got some injuries as well, including both Gabby Moreno and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. both being on the IL. Gurriel, though, who tore his ACL last September, could return tomorrow or Sunday. He's made a very quick recovery as Davis Schneider swings away at the first pitch and lifts a fly ball into right for Carroll. And just like that, with the roof open tonight here at Chase Field, this ball game is underway.
Well, I think if this offense is going to get going, we talked about game planning, but it's more the execution of those game plans. And Davis Schneider saw first pitch he liked. John Schneider wants them to do that. If you get a good pitch, that's when you do your damage. You see Soroka's good fastball got in on him.
Over the last, say, 48 hours, you have heard John Schneider use the word damage and slug and uppercuts, and he knows they can jab. He wants some uppercuts. He's borrowed some boxing analogies. Dalton Varsho was an uppercut kind of guy. There is some swing and a miss, obviously, in Varsho's game, although the strikeouts are down this year. But Varsho is a threat whenever he comes to the plate. John Schneider would like to feel that way about more of his hitters right now. This is popped up, foul, and heading for the third base dugout. 1-2. An opener tonight for the Blue Jays. Braden Fisher is going to get the first few batters. How many, we don't know. Then Eric Lauer is going to come into the game, we believe, after that and be the bulk guy tonight. A ball and 2 strikes on Varsho. And it's strike 3 called. Got him with a backdoor breaking ball for out number 2.
Soroka is averaging 94 miles per hour with his fastball this season. That's a career high, but the slurve is an excellent pitch for him, and he backdoored him this time. That's a pitch that starts over by the right-handed batter's box. You give up on it as a left-handed batter, and all you can do is sit and watch it catch the outside edge.
So 2 up, 2 down for Soroka, and here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and he's up there swinging at a first pitch fastball. Guerrero, if you heard that ovation just moments ago, the fans in the lower level on the first base side are Blue Jay fans, and Vladdy has another big rip at a fastball in the zone. It's 0-2.
Soroka throws a 4-seamer and a sinker, so the Blue Jays hitters will see both of those. Along with that slurve, he'll sink it more to the righties. You'll see the changeup more to the lefties.
That's the slurve, and it's hit down to third, backhanded by Arenado. They get Guerrero by his step, and the Blue Jays go 1-2-3 against Soroka in the top of the first.
Tomorrow on Sportsnet 1.
Torey Lovullo, the manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks. He was a coach with the Blue Jays back in the early 2010s. I believe it was 2011 and 12. He was the first base coach for the Blue Jays. There's Corbin Carroll hitting in the 2 spot. Again, he can hit for average. He's an extra base hit machine. He's a problem. Ketel Marte and Geraldo Perdomo, each of whom have had great seasons in the last couple of years for the Diamondbacks, both switch hitters as well. They're dealing with some injuries, so their lineup doesn't look quite like it normally does. But because of the damage potential at the top of the order, John Schneider opting for an opener tonight in Braden Fisher.
And it's an opener in Fisher that features a couple of different breaking balls, the curveball and the slider. I think they also like the spin against the top of this Diamondbacks lineup. 8 games for Fisher this season. He's been very good, just 1 walk and 12 strikeouts in his 9 2/3 innings. Just came in just to get 1 out on Wednesday, so he is fresh and ready to go.
Fisher did this once last year against the A's, and it did not go well. He was charged with 5 runs in an inning and a third, but I don't think that's nearly enough evidence for cause and effect or anything like that. Here is Ketel Marte DHing. Normally at second base, Marte's got a bit of an oblique lower back thing going on. The original lineup, he was at second base, but then he was moved to DH a couple of hours before the game. That breaking ball's in there, 1-1. Torey Lovullo described Marte as extremely tightly wound as you look at Fisher's career road numbers, but he wasn't talking about Marte's personality. He was talking about what a physical specimen he is. That's ripped foul, 1-2. Implying that when you're all muscle and no body fat, you can pull things and tweak things. I don't have that problem.
Got to have a little fat, Dan. Got to have a little inspiration.
Right. We are not tightly wound.
Torey said it just like that. It's better to be a sloth.
Yeah. What a play by Guerrero down at first as he takes a base hit away from Marte.
Braden Fisher is very appreciative of that effort right there from the first baseman. Vladdy gets himself set, fully stretched out to his right, taking a base hit away from Marte.
And they're both smiling about it. What a terrific play by Guerrero. Here's Carroll. Corbin Carroll, right at the beginning of spring training, even before spring training games began, fractured his hamate bone, that little problematic bone at the base of your wrist. Had surgery, got back quicker than expected, was ready to go in time for the start of the regular season. He's been dealing with a hip issue recently, not physically 100%, but playing through it. He lifts a high fly ball to right center. It is not deep at all, and it'll be Jesus Sanchez to make the catch for out number 2.
Nice slower curveball there to Carroll defensively behind Fisher, and then what we think is going to be Eric Lauer tonight. Same outfield as last night, Schneider, Varsho, and Sanchez that we saw in Milwaukee. Kazuma Okamoto back over across the field to third base tonight. Jimenez and Clement in the middle. Vladdy at first with that great diving catch, and Tyler Heineman again behind the plate for the Blue Jays.
Two down. Here's Geraldo Perdomo, the shortstop for the Diamondbacks, as he looks at a fastball for a strike. Perdomo's off to a very slow start this year, but don't let those numbers fool you. As he drills it towards the right field corner, it's going to bounce up over the wall and into the Blue Jays bullpen, and that'll be a ground rule double for Perdomo, who, as we were about to say, finished 4th in MVP balloting in the National League a year ago. Boy, could you win some bar bets on that one. He had an outstanding season in 2025.
It's a very good player, and before you could get the words out of your mouth, you see what they're trying to do with that fastball. We talked about all of the breaking pitches that Fisher throws. He likes to try to mix in a fastball. He went back-to-back fastballs and paid for it.
So a 2-out double. And the cleanup hitter tonight for the Diamondbacks is Jose Fernandez, a 22-year-old rookie who did not make the team out of the spring, but due to injuries got called up March 31st. Hit 2 home runs in his first big league game. That was against the Tigers. And now a pickoff attempt gets into center. And Perdomo comes to third. Remember, Braden Fisher is the guy who twice already this year has picked a runner off at second. What in the world happened here?
And this is initiated by the catcher. We've seen him do this. The catcher drops his glove as Ernie breaks for the bag, but Braden just made a terrible throw. There's the catcher letting pitcher know, spin and fire, but he didn't quite finish that throw.
Boy, I mean, Fisher was nails the other 2 times he tried it. Great throws earlier in the year. It does not look, though, like it's going to cost him, as Fernandez, who gets down the line fast, is out by a step, and that ground out will end the inning. No score in this one.
Responsible gaming is our business. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and needs
with McCain, official French fry of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Top 2 here in downtown Phoenix, Chase Field, which for the vast majority of the season the roof is closed due to the heat, obviously, but it's gorgeous. It's about 27 Celsius, 81 Fahrenheit. They opened the roof maybe about half an hour before the game, once kind of the afternoon heat burned off a little bit. And I think I speak for you as well, Joe, when I say, boy, are we happy to come here in April and not in July.
July would be a little different. I think the last time we were here in July, it was like 44 degrees.
Yeah, we are not wired for that. 1-1, the count on Jesus Sanchez, leading off the top of the second inning. This is the first guy you talked about in the open tonight, about a place they want to look to for some power, because it's in there.
I think it's there. That's why they acquired him. And I think when we're seeing what he's doing at the plate, he's having some good at-bats. He's done some very good things, but he's been more of a line drive type hitter, and I think they want to see him get a little bit more air under the baseball, get some balls in the air and try to drive something out of the park. And John Schneider specifically said, like, I asked him today whether it's the game plan that's been the issue or the execution of the game plan. And he said the game plan's fine. As we saw in Milwaukee, we saw more and more pitchers working away. David Popkins and his staff has these guys ready, but then you can't go out there and chase those sliders away first pitch, off the plate away, or on the edges. Those aren't the good pitches early that you can do damage to.
So in Sanchez's case, and most of the guys, up until 2 strikes, let it eat, take some chances, try to do some damage. Once you get to 2 strikes, obviously, you just get into battle mode. Slashes this one to left field. The catch will be made by a backpedaling Tawa for out number 1.
And that's a good example right there. So you got to 2 strikes. You're against a tough pitcher. And that's a nice piece of hitting right there with 2 strikes to do that. Now, it's an 0 for 1. But I think what they're saying is he's the type of hitter, and there's George going to console him a little bit, but he's the type of hitter that if he can get under the ball earlier, he's capable of finding the seats. And I haven't met a big league manager that doesn't like home runs.
DHing and hitting 5th again tonight is Lenyn Sosa, who just went after a slurve that was about a foot off the outside corner. You see the combined numbers for Sosa between the White Sox and the Blue Jays. 1 ball and 1 strike. Eric Lauer is up in the pen. He again is the bulk guy, or whatever term you want to use. Whether he starts the bottom of the second or Fisher comes back out, we don't know. Now Soroka runs a fastball in on the hands of Sosa and gets a ground ball to third for out number 2.
Soroka has a lot of very good weapons, and I talked about the forcing fastball slurve combination and righties. He will use that sinker, and that was perfect execution on his part, running it in on the hands of the right-handed batter.
You can see the strikeout rate is up, the velocity is up. He has struck out 10 in 2 of his first 3 starts. And a first pitch ground ball out to second off the bat of Andres Jimenez, and the Blue Jays aren't making Soroka throw many pitches at all.
He pitched yesterday for the Single-A Blue Jays through 47 pitches. And look, the results were not terrific. 5 runs, 5 hits over 2 2/3 innings, but you always throw those away in these rehab outings. And it is worth noting that the contact off of Barrios was not particularly hard. 2 of the 10 balls in play against him were hit over 87 miles per hour. So that's 8 of the 10 that were rather soft. And these were some very aggressive Single-A hitters. They swung at 35 of his 47 pitches. The most important aspect is that his sinker sat 93.5, the 4-seamer averaged 94, and Barrios is now going to throw another rehab outing on Wednesday for Dunedin. He'll be aiming to get to 60 to 65 pitches. And a day earlier on Tuesday, Trey Savage is going to make another rehab start with AAA Buffalo. There was a possibility he could be activated to the big league roster next week, but the Blue Jays want him to get a feel for a starter's volume again and continue to refine his fastball command, Dan.
All right, Arden, thank you. We'll touch on those stories momentarily, but first here is Eric Lauer as he comes on for the bottom of the second. So Braden Fisher, the opener, goes 1 scoreless innings. He's the top 4 guys in the order. And now Lauer comes in to face the number 5 hitter in the Arizona lineup, Nolan Arenado. And Arenado sends one to center field. Back is Dalton Varsho to make the catch almost 400 feet away, just shy of the track.
Well, Eric Lauer coming off back-to-back rough starts. One was in Chicago when he was really under the weather, just pitching 2 innings, but the next one was against the Twins, and again, not fully healed by any means. We saw him really battling. The velocity was down, the command wasn't there. He gave up a couple of home runs. He did stay out there until the 6th inning. He threw his 95 pitches, but certainly hoping to see better health and better strength from Lauer tonight.
Both his velocity and his command were unlike him in those last couple of starts as he misses outside ball 1 to Ildemaro Vargas, the second baseman, who was on a 12-game hitting streak, which encompasses his entire season to date. He's hitting .383. He pulls this one down the left field line, but he's out in front of it. The Diamondbacks have a number of good players who may not be that well known north of the border by, the Blue Jay fan who is a casual baseball fan. But they got some good players. Perdomo's a great player. We've talked about Carroll. People should know him. Swing and a miss, 1 and 2. But even with the injuries they've got, they're getting good contributions. Torey Lovello has used the term win the margins, win the inches. There's even a sign in their clubhouse that says win the inches. He is very big on the little things. He doesn't think they're little, whether it's, your bunt defense or moving a runner or hitting the cutoff man, whatever it may be. And they have, from what he has said and what we have learned, been doing those things very well so far this season. Vargas with a liner to center. And listen, they go east, for East Coast teams or Eastern time zone teams, tough to go west for a road trip. For Pacific, although it's technically Mountain time zone here, going east for a road trip is hard. They went 6-3 through New York, Philly, and Baltimore. That's a good road trip.
They've had a very tough schedule early in this season. They started the season against the Dodgers in LA, then they played Detroit, Atlanta, and then the teams that you mentioned on the road trip. It's been a tough start, and they have been coming out of it with flying colors.
Here's James McCann. We mentioned Gabby Moreno, the former Blue Jay, is on the IL right now. He's got an oblique situation, not expected to be that long. You see McCann hitting well recently, hitting .250 on the season, 35 years of age, and in his 13th big league season. Lauer out in front 0-2. So Arden had the Savage update at the end of his report. He's going to make another start Tuesday for Buffalo. So conceivably he could start on Sunday of next week, the last day. He could start next Sunday. Blue Jays will be back home by then. He's not going to be on the road trip. There's a swing and a miss, and Lauer gets McCann.
We'll mix in a changeup on occasion. Eric Lauer will. It's been a good pitch for him early in this season. Away from the righty.
Strikeouts are brought to you by Subway. Buy 1 foot long, get 1 free with no delivery fee. Offer ends April 26th. Use the code to save on this Subway digital exclusive. So with Savage starting again Tuesday, the earliest he could be back would be a week from Sunday, back on the homestand. Here's Tim Tawa, the left fielder, just 3 for 32 so far this year. Vargas dancing around and leaning a little bit over there at first, and draws a throw.
Eric, not necessarily the best left-hander at keeping runners close over there and controlling the running game. When he does lift that leg, if they're going first move, he's got a pretty high leg kick and a slow, deliberate delivery.
Down and away. Vargas does not have a steal this year. The most he's had in a big league season, 9. Ripped foul, and it's 1-2. So very early on tonight, Lauer's fastball velocity, Joe, looks to be back where he wants it, 91, 92. It was down around 88 in his next to last start, and more like 89, 90 in his last one. Still the after effects from the flu. Caught out at second by Clement, and that soft liner will end the inning. No score at the end of 2.
James Wan and Blumhouse bring you a new terrifying horror in Lee Cronin's The Mummy, now playing only in theaters.
Well, if you are watching, you are well aware that the Blue Jays have been having trouble scoring runs, and in fact, in franchise history, this is one of the lowest number of runs they have scored in their first 18 games. You can't say that without saying obviously some of it is that Springer, Barger, and Kirk are out. Those are 3 of your best hitters, but they've just got to find a way to score more than they have been scoring until those guys get back.
And we saw David Schneider from the outset of this game. First pitch, he got a fastball that he thought he could try to do something with. I don't have a problem with players teeing off on first pitches. It's got to be a good pitch, though, and I think that's what we have seen a little bit too much of. Those sliders off the plate away, or the fastballs not in the location you're looking for.
Kazuma Okamoto leads off the third, and he has a big rip at a first pitch fastball. Michael Soroka, excuse me, 6 up and 6 down through the first 2 innings on only 18 pitches. Slurve is fouled off, and it's 0-2. Eloy Jimenez, Brandon Valenzuela getting a good look. Neither one of them in the starting lineup tonight. This is hooked down the third baseline, and it's going to wind up in the seats. Line to second, Vargas the catch, and Okamoto retired.
That's a very good swing that time from Okamoto. It's a fastball out over the plate. We've seen him coming around the ball so much and pulling those, sometimes on the ground, sometimes weakly in the air. But he really stays behind this baseball and drives it that way. More and more teams we're seeing continue pitching him out there, whether they're fastballs or breaking balls. So you might as well try to let that ball travel a little bit and go that other way.
In the 8th spot tonight is Ernie Clement, who was hitting .288 on the season. Breaking ball in there, 1-1. One of the lowest strikeout rates in the majors. Very Ernie-ish. A free swinger sees fewer pitches per plate appearance than anybody in baseball so far this year. And Tawa lost it. The Blue Jays catch a big break as Tawa lost the ball in the twilight, and Clement is at second. Clement credited with a double.
Well, there's no worse feeling than an outfielder losing it. Look at the center fielder, Jorge Barrosa, coming over. He's coming over as hard as he can because right there he knew that his left fielder had lost the baseball. And you talk about that sky right about now with the roof open, that makes a difference, and he lost the ball.
First base runner of the night for the Blue Jays. Clement at second, one down for Tyler Heineman. Heineman hits it foul up the first baseline. Heineman had a good game yesterday. It was a loss for the Blue Jays in Milwaukee, but the only run they got was on his safety squeeze. He also threw out a runner and was 2 for 2 on ABS challenges, which is not nothing these days. That's lined and caught. A fair ball, says first base umpire Jim Wolf, but either way, it is out number 2.
There's that changeup from Soroka. We talked about the fastball velocity of Soroka being up this year. The changeup, it's up there too, and it's got a lot of movement. That ball's diving down and away from the left-handed hitter. Looked like he cued it maybe a little toward the end of his bat.
Fernandez the catch at first, and now it's back to the top of the order for Davis Schneider, who flied out to right on the first pitch that he saw in the top of the first. Takes that one up and away for ball 1. So since George Springer hit the IL, John Schneider has gone in the leadoff spot. Clement, Lucas, Schneider. Here's a chopper to short. Perdomo's got it. And that is that, as Clement is stranded out at second. Still no score. Back again on May 9th. The first 15,000 fans of the Rogers Center will receive a reversible Barbie bucket hat to complete their pink look. Celebrate all things Barbie with themed music, performers, and activities all around the ballpark. Grab your tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. Got some messages on social media. There are a lot of people from Saskatchewan who have come down to Arizona, and a lot of people from BC, as you would imagine, who have come down as well. Lots of Blue Jay fans here hoping that maybe they will see the offense come to life. No score, going bottom 3. This is the number 9 hitter tonight, the center fielder Jorge Barrosa. Generally, Alec Thomas, a very good center fielder, is in there, but he's a left-handed batter. So Torey Lovello, you can see, kind of set up the lineup with Lauer in mind, even though he didn't start. He was the bulk guy tonight. Barrosa can play all 3 outfield spots, runs well. He's got 11 hits, 8 of them are extra base hits, 7 doubles and a triple. This is a great extra base hit ballpark. It is deep out in center. It's 407 to center and 413 just to the left of straightaway center, just to the right of straightaway center. You get it in the gap, you got a great chance for a triple.
This is a good ballpark to come to, despite the fact that the Diamondbacks have been pitching very well, both the rotation and their bullpen. But in terms of hitters have always said it's a great place to hit.
Just inside, it's 3-2. And we don't know why, but Miles Straw has replaced Dalton Varsho in center field. And looks like Straw's going to get a play. A fly ball to very shallow center. So Straw right away makes a play. If we get any word as to why Dalton Varsho came out of the game, of course we will pass it along.
Not good news, especially when your center fielder has been absolutely swinging it, and it's an offense that needs him desperately. That's the last thing Josh Snyder wanted to see or hear. We will wait to hear the news, but can't be good when you lose your center fielder this early.
In his only at bat, that was back in the first, he struck out looking. So he didn't have to, he didn't run the bases or anything like that. Caught a fly ball in the bottom of the second. Nothing obvious that we can remember that may have happened to Varsho tonight. Ketel Marte hits a screamer to third. And the throw to first, I think it was called on the fly. Okamoto was looking at Alex McKay, the third base umpire. I'm not really sure from the signal that McKay gave. It wasn't demonstrative one way or the other. He caught that ball.
Yeah.
But just in case, he threw it over to first.
And he's behind, the third base umpire, McKay, is behind Okamoto. He may not have had a real good look at it, maybe a little indecisive himself. Okamoto did the right thing. They'll throw it across the infield to make sure.
So 2 down. Here's Corbin Carroll. 0 for 1 on a fly ball to right.
Varsho fouled a couple balls off in his at-bat, so he did swing the bat twice. Who knows?
It goes without saying, the last thing they need is another injury to another key player. Out in front of Carroll, 0-2. The pitch from Lauer. This is outside. You're looking at the City Connect jerseys for the Diamondbacks tonight here on this Friday night. Got him. Boy, what a nice pitch. Fastball froze him at 92. And it's scoreless at the end of 3. As you know, the Raptors are back in the playoffs. Game 1 of their first round series against the Cavs is coming your way tomorrow. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time on Sportsnet 1. We are here with the home of the Diamondbacks, also here in downtown Phoenix tonight, a do-or-die NBA game between the Suns and the Warriors that is certainly getting a lot of attention in these parts.
Steph Curry in town.
Had a big one in their win to get into this game. Had 38 points, I think, something like that. So here's Miles Straw, and again, we don't know what has knocked Dalton Varsho out of the game. Straw coming on defensively in the bottom of the third and immediately lines a ball into left for a base hit.
Does anyone know their role better than Miles Straw? He can sit on the bench for a week, come in, fill in, boom, swing the bat. He had a big double the other day. Just plays his role perfectly, and not only do you have your leadoff man on, you've got speed on first base.
For Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who grounded out his first time up. Guerrero sends it to center field, but he might have gotten it off the end of the bat, and the catch is made by Barossa for out number 1.
This is the cutter from Michael Soroka. He does not throw the pitch a whole lot, but watch what it does. Looks like a strike the whole way. At the last split second, just cuts to the outside edge of the plate. So as a hitter, you think you're all over a fastball, and it just cuts off the sweet spot toward the end of the bat, and he knew it right when he made contact.
1 on, 1 out for Jesus Sanchez. Lined out to left his first time up. Thought about it, checked the swing, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1. You talk about the power of Sanchez. The most home runs he's ever hit in a season is 18. But he is your classic exit velocity, hard hit balls, that bat speed. He's that guy. And one of the reasons the Blue Jays went out and got him is they think that, maybe they've got the key to unlock it. and turn it into power and production.
And I think that key to unlock it is not being, he's been more of a pull type of guy in the past. It seems as though he's letting that ball travel. We talked about for our show like this the other day too, letting it get a little deeper and more staying inside of it. So sure, he's shooting line drives and keeping the ball low and thinking more middle oppo, but I think a big man like this, you need to, as you say, get the key and unlock it by having him catch it out front a little bit more, so that swing is on the upswing when you make contact out front.
There's a liner into right for a base hit. Straw will come around to third on a well-struck ball off the bat of Sanchez, and it's first and third, one out.
Well, that's a good example right there from Sanchez. Didn't get it up in the air into the seats, but that is a hard line shot. But he's catching this breaking ball out front on your upswing. You see, he's got that flat type plane to his swing. And when you've got speed like Miles Straw in first, he's cruising into third easily.
Now can they capitalize? First and third, one out for Lenyn Sosa. Hit a ground ball to third his first time up. Sosa 3 for 9 with 2 singles and a double since coming to the Blue Jays. He gets a bunt down, and it's going to go foul. How about that? Well, maybe this Milwaukee thing has just kind of rubbed off on them a little bit over the last couple of days.
Well, you could see Straw. He is a little indecisive. He's got to make sure he knows where that ball is going. If it's bunted too close to the catcher, he can't go. This may have been a sign. He may have done it on his own. And watching Miles Straw right there, I'm wondering if he didn't do it on his own. He was just trying to read the play in front of him.
You don't expect a guy who's DHing and batting fifth to drop a bunt down, but maybe just trying to scratch a run across because they've been struggling. The set by Soroka and the 0-1, and he's going to do it again, and he gets it down. He gets a run home, and he is out on a very close play at first. Boy, I was surprised he did it once. I was shocked he did it a second time, but the Blue Jays take a 1-0 lead.
I don't think it matters where you're hitting in the lineup, if you're the DH or not. It's about scoring runs, and this team is trying desperately to find a way to score more runs. I thought Soroka did a great job here by letting this ball go. He was going to field it, but he forgot who he's got at third base in Nolan Arenado. It's an easy run. You just can't defend it.
And a very close play at first. They just do get Sosa. Sanchez to second, and here's Andres Jimenez. Jimenez came into the game 3 for 8 with 2 homers in his career against Michael Soroka. One of the home runs last year, and then one 2 years ago when Jimenez was still a Guardian and Soroka was with the White Sox. Takes it down and in, a ball and a strike. That's a changeup there from Soroka. Ideally, he'd like that ball down and away from Jimenez. Kind of cut it, and it ran down and in. You cannot put any of what is ailing the Blue Jay offense on the shoulders of Andres Jimenez. He has not only met, I think he has exceeded what you would expect from him offensively. As Blue Jay fans are making some noise, and the Diamondback fans are a little annoyed and maybe booing a little bit.
Get loud.
So the last 2 runs the Blue Jays have scored have both been on squeezes. Sosa tonight and Heineman yesterday. The day before that, their 1 run came on a sacrifice fly by Jesus Sanchez. They haven't had a hit to drive in a run since the first game of the Milwaukee series on Tuesday.
And that's sort of the ideal situation there. First and third, 1 out. You get the bunt down. It's really tough to defend. Straw scores easily.
Fouled off the mask of McCann, who nods after Alan Porter, the home plate umpire, checks to make sure he's okay.
You think Arenado was as surprised as we were, especially on the second attempt?
The second one. I was blown away he did it the second time, because now the element of surprise is gone. And 2-2 again. And Jimenez strikes out. The Blue Jays, though, do get the first run of the night, and it is on another safety squeeze. This time, Lenine Sosa drops it down. Miles Straw scores. 1-0 Blue Jays mid-4. Join us April 26th for another Junior Jays Sunday presented by Ontario Honda Dealers. Interactive games, artists, live performers, prizes, and don't forget, kids can run the bases after the game. Visit bluejays.com/promotions to get tickets. So the Blue Jays have the first run of the night. It is 1-0 going to the bottom of the fourth. Third inning for Eric Lauer. And Geraldo Perdomo is the batter to lead it off for the Diamondbacks. We told you he finished 4th in the National League in MVP balloting a season ago, as he hits it hard but foul down the line. Perdomo hit .290, 20 home runs, 33 doubles, 100 RBIs, 27 stolen bases, and walked 94 times. That is a fantastic season.
And plays pretty good shortstop.
Yeah. Reaches for the changeup, stays alive.
That's a big pitch for Eric Lauer against these right-handed batters. He told me in spring training it's a pitch he needs to use a little bit more. He uses the four-seam fastball mostly up in the zone and in, glove side, and he'll run that cutter across the top of the zone. Sometimes in, but also sometimes up and away.
It's a four-seamer, fouled off right side, still 0-2. Not the first time that Eric Lauer has come in after an opener. As a member of the Blue Jays, he did this kind of a thing 5 times last year. Braden Fisher, the opener tonight. He went around. He sure did. Third strikeout for Lauer. The 5 guys who acted as an opener for Eric Lauer last year: Jose Urena, Paxton Schultz, Yariel Rodriguez, Bowden Francis, and Louis Varland.
Wow. All
did kind of what Braden Fisher did tonight. Sometimes they will shield Lauer from the top few hitters in the order, depending on the matchup, or what they feel the best situation is that curveball is in for a strike. So even last year, when they went on to win 94 games and made it to Game 7 of the World Series, they were still doing this kind of a thing sometimes.
Always trying to navigate a 162 game season, and if that means protecting a particular pitcher, here we are now. And the whole idea is so that Eric Lauer, if he sees a part of the lineup a third time, it's the bottom half instead of the top half. That's how it's laid out by Fisher pitching the first.
Out of play, Arden Swelling may have an update on Dalton Varsho.
Yeah, that's right, Dan. Dalton Varsho was removed from today's game with left knee discomfort. The Blue Jays calling it left knee discomfort for Varsho.
All right, Arden, thank you. So obviously we don't know anything about the severity. We didn't really see anything out there. Hopefully it's minor, hopefully somewhat precautionary, but man, oh man. They're already playing without so many key guys, and we've talked a lot about, well, George Springer should be back here, and Addison Barger should be back there, and Treya Savage, but how do they withstand another injury? And again, to a guy who is swinging the bat very well right now when not that many guys are. All hands on deck, right? It takes a village, whatever cliche you want to use. Got to figure out a way to win some games until the guys on the IL get back.
And the first thing you think of is when guys get hurt, it's opportunity for others. Torey Lovullo talked about it on his side this afternoon. It's opportunities for others to step up. Blue Jays acquired Lenine Sosa. He's had some good at-bats already. We've seen Brandon Valenzuela get his opportunity behind the plate. But Torey was that type of player too, though, right? He's going to be bunting and hitting and running. And remember those days.
Lauer gets Fernandez with a called strike over the inside corner for back-to-back strikeouts here in the fourth.
That's what he can do. Mix it up, mix it up. But when you're located, he got the high target inside and hit that corner.
Moore missed it by just a little bit, but Fernandez did not ask for a challenge. 4 strikeouts now through 2 2/3 for Lauer. He struck out the last 3 in a row. And here's Arenado. Nolan Arenado certainly is on the backside of his career. He is 35 years old. He is in his 14th season at one point, especially if you go back to his days in Colorado. One of the best all-round players in the game offensively, and it goes without saying defensively. He's considered one of the best defensive third basemen in baseball history when he was in his prime. A 10-time Gold Glove Award winner.
5 straight years he was a top 10 MVP.
Yeah.
I mean, that's big time stuff.
Yep. And he drills it. Deep left field, gone. His 3rd of the season, and that ties the game at 1.
Forcing fastball, he got it in there, but Arenado got it out of there. Showing a very quick bat. See where the target is. He wanted to keep that away, and he pulled it. And he knew right away. Lauer knows you don't want to get in there with your miss. If you're going to miss away where it's less dangerous, and Arenado made him pay.
Career home run number 356 for Nolan Arenado. As Ildemaro Vargas takes low ball 1. He had a base hit his first time up. That is a foul ball. Who did that hit?
I think it was interference on the
catcher's
catch.
interference.
I heard 2 noises there, and I think the bat hit Heineman's glove.
So catcher's interference on Heineman. That will be an error charge to him. Vargas will go to first. No time at bat for Vargas. Heineman gesturing. Let's take a look here.
It's hard to tell in slow motion. I could hear it from here. I heard 2 noises.
And Vargas kind of looked back at home plate umpire Alan Porter right away, which is often what a hitter does when he thinks it's catcher's interference. So a 2-out base runner will bring up James McCann, who struck out in his first at bat. The Diamondbacks were swept by the Dodgers to begin the regular season and are 11-5 since, so 11-8 overall on the year. Here's McCann with a fly ball to Straw in center. Lots of room. And the inning is over. But Nolan Arenado takes Eric Lauer deep, and it's 1-1 now at the end of 4.
Been adjustments aplenty for Kazuma Okamoto as he makes the transition from NPB to MLB, and one of the biggest in the batter's box has been dealing with spin, and we'll show you some of his numbers here against breaking balls and cutters so far. You see there the 28 whiffs. Those are the 8th most in MLB, and those 3 hits are all singles. Now it's only 17 games into his MLB career, so there's plenty of runway here for him to improve, but we've seen a clear pattern in how Okamoto's being attacked since the calendar turned to April. 52% of the pitches he's seen have been breaking balls and cutters. That's the highest percentage on the Blue Jays by a considerable margin, and it's likely a direct response to 8 of Okamoto's first 9 hits on the season coming off of fastballs. So pitchers have adjusted, and now Okamoto's working to adjust back.
Art, thank you. So, Joe, is that your read on it as well? Was he being pitched differently in spring training and the first few days of the regular season when he had a lot of success than he is right now?
Well, I think no matter what, we know what he likes to do. He's going to try to pull the ball in the air. He's a power hitter, and yes, I think as soon as the season started, whether it was more than spring training, probably, but I know during the regular season here, a lot of fastballs away, up and away, and then we started seeing more and more spin when he hit a couple home runs early on the fastballs. Yeah. So they adjust, and now he's got to adjust back, but I still say for him, he's got to think more the other way, right center. Do it for 3 or 4 games, see what happens.
And Soroka starts this at bat with back-to-back breaking balls. It's a slur for Soroka. Away. Both were off the corner. One was taken for a ball. One Okamoto swings through. And then he's right on the outside corner with yet another one. And this, to Arden's point and your point, the vast majority of the pitches that Okamoto is seeing, especially from right-handed pitchers, are away. That one left over the inner half, and look at how hard he hit it. And that's the difference between it being middle or away.
Because that's where the barrel is going. He is working pull side. That's the worst mistake you can make to him right now, is missing off speed in there. Now, because he's getting so many breaking balls, there are times too that you'll see a fastball buzz by and he's just frozen. Yep. But it's because when your brain tracks all of that spin, slow, and all of a sudden that 94 fastball looks 104. Like that.
But he does check the swing. It's 3-2. David Popkins alongside George Springer in that first base dugout. And that one is the one, that was the best one probably for Okamoto. That was over the middle of the plate, but he grounds out to third for out number one.
And two things are at play there. Number one, the pitcher and the Diamondbacks just told you everything. So Mike Soroka clearly is comfortable throwing his slurve, but that's how they feel so strongly about what Arden just reported. They'll throw it 3-2. It doesn't have to be your best one. Just have it in the zone, and you get the pull side ground out because that's where the barrel is traveling.
Here's Ernie Clement. Clement was credited with a double in the third inning. Do we have another? Oh, I thought we had another catcher's interference. Ernie's just being a gentleman. He's just getting the ball.
Gentleman/umpire.
Yeah. Ernie was credited with a double in the third. He hit a routine fly ball to left, except Tim Tawa lost it in the sky. Yeah, Clement saw that McCann was shaken up, so he went out to get the baseball.
That sinker from Soroka, again, doesn't do it too often, but just often enough to these right-handed batters running it in there.
He's got a really nice mix, and again, he's got the best velocity of his career right now. That's a cutter running away, so sinker in, cutter away, four-seamer up, slurve down and away. There's a lot of stuff here.
Pitchers are trying to cover. It feels like we're talking about Dylan Cease a little bit when you talk about his 6 shapes, trying to cover all the zones.
Clement with a ground ball to short, scooped up by Perdomo, who will get him 2 down. You know, and I'm sure a lot of Canadian baseball fans feel this way, even if they are Blue Jay fans and watching Soroka pitch against the Blue Jays tonight. It's just good to see him healthy. This is a guy who tore his Achilles not once, but twice, and missed 2.5 years of pitching, but has come back. He's healthy. He's pitched for Canada in the WBC. He's on a 1-year deal with the Diamondbacks with a mutual option for next year. A good guy too. You and I have both had a chance to speak with him, and just good to see him healthy. He's been through a lot.
I ran into him at the Baseball Canada Awards Banquet in January, and it just goes to show you the pride that these guys have pitching for their country, coming to a banquet like that and celebrating. And there is a lot of pride in that room. That's one thing I can tell you. And when Greg Hamilton has pointed out, Michael's one of the first ones up and leading the parade of the applause for the program and what they have done. And Michael's been a clear product of that, and very proud to be that.
He started the game against Colombia, which I think was Canada's first game of the tournament, I believe, and he got the win. Canada won that game, and then Soroka also started the game against the United States in the quarterfinals. Ahead 1-2 on Heinemann. And that hit him in the foot.
Did he swing?
Did he swing? Yes, he did. So the swing overrides the hit by pitch. And Heinemann strikes out. It's on to the bottom of the 5th in a 1-1 tie as we send it back to the studio to get an update with Jamie Campbell.
The first 15,000 moms to the D-backs Mets game on.
Next week, Jays fans ate more than 100,000 hot dogs on Looney Dog Night, presented by Schneider's. Can you help beat that total next time out? The next Looney Dog Night comes your way on April 28th. Grab your tickets at bluejays.com/tickets and come hungry. Diamondbacks with their own version of the Looney Dog. Their hot dogs here at Chase Field. Again, a beautiful night. The roof is open. That doesn't happen often here, only very early and very late in the season, but it's a perfect night. Here's left fielder Tim Tawa, who lined out to second in his first at bat. We mentioned Lourdes Gurriel Jr. briefly a little bit earlier. Gurriel, of course, with Gabby Moreno in the trade for Dalton Varsho a few years back. And Gurriel, on September the 1st of last season, tore his ACL. Had surgery shortly thereafter and has made a remarkably fast recovery and is on the verge of rejoining the team. Torey Lovullo spoke about Gurriel, among other things, before the game and said, I want to be very transparent here and very clear. He is right on the cusp of getting back. He played in a couple of rehab games, had today off. I think he was in transit to Phoenix. I think he's here tonight. And I guess theoretically could be active tomorrow. Maybe they want to check him over, give him another day or two. He'll do some DHing, do some left field when he comes back. But they have been without one of their more important players for a while. And of course, in his time with the Blue Jays, not only a good player, but one of the more popular players the Blue Jays had.
Brings a lot of energy to the clubhouse, let's say.
A very close miss there, and it is 3-2. That ball just a little bit up and in on Tawa. I don't know what Gurriel's hair looks like now because we haven't seen him, but he went purple for a while last year because it mixes in with one of the colors the Diamondbacks have.
Could be anything.
Yep. I'm sure Mr. Guerrero would love to see Mr. Gurriel tomorrow. 3-2 again, and it's outside, ball 4.
Catch every pitch with Canada's most reliable 5G Plus network and best 5G Plus network. Rogers, we got you.
Eric Lauer came in the second, now working here in the bottom of the 5th. A leadoff walk to Tim Tawa. Now here's the number 9 hitter Jorge Barrosa, the center fielder, who shows bunt, pulls it back and takes a strike. The Blue Jays were anticipating that. Okamoto was way in on the grass already. This is the kind of game that a Barrosa plays. The Diamondbacks have already had 7 bunt hits this year, not sacrifices, 7 bunt hits on the season. He gets it down, back to Lauer, looking to second. They'll force the lead runner. Good play by Lauer.
Who says pitchers can't field their positions? Eric Lauer says I'm all over it. The bunt was a little bit firm, and as a pitcher you read that and he knows right away he's got a shot. He positioned himself the way he fielded that ball to get ready to make that throw to second base, and he threw a strike.
And he was also hearing from his catcher, who was yelling 2, 2, 2.
It helps you out, absolutely.
Yeah. And now Heineman's going to give Lauer a second to catch his breath, have a little conversation. Now back to the top of the order. So while this is the 3rd time for the top of the order, it's just the 2nd time for Lauer because Fisher was the opener, and that is the primary reason for the strategy, is that if Lauer's going to face some guys more than others, let it be the guys at the bottom of the order, not at the top. In a related story, John Schneider was asked before the game if there's any chance they would use an opener in front of Max Scherzer tomorrow, and he said, one-word answer, no.
Not happening.
Yeah, Scherzer will start the middle game of the series tomorrow. Kevin Gausman will start on Sunday. So here's Ketel Marte, switch hitter batting from the right side. Takes a strike. That's lined into left field. A base hit for Marte. Barossa thought about it, racing and kind of stutter stepping a little bit around second, but then put the brakes on. And it's first and second, one out for Corbin Carroll.
Most a changeup from Eric Lauer. It looked like he pulled it a little bit. Watch where this changeup goes, how it comes down and in. Ideally, you want to keep that ball down and away from the right-handed batter because that's right into his barrel.
So the Diamondbacks have something going with some of their best hitters coming up. Here's Corbin Carroll, 0 for 2. At the knees, says Alan Porter. That's a called strike, 0-1. Porter, by the way, considered one of the best balls and strikes umpires in the majors. Nobody's challenged anything so far tonight, only halfway through here, but he has a very good reputation behind the plate. This is lined to left center, and it's down for a base hit, and it's going to give the Diamondbacks the lead as Barossa comes in to score.
Does such a good job hanging in there against left-handed pitching. And he does it on this pitch. It came back with the slider, and it's out there pretty good. The location's not bad at all, but he stays on it very well. Really gets into his legs to elongate the path of that bat.
He's just a great player. First round pick out of high school in 2019. He's 5'10", 170. But he can hurt you. He has averaged 26 home runs the last 3 years. And he has averaged 40 stolen bases the last 3 years. Pete Walker to the mound. Arizona has the lead. First and second, one out. Nobody up in the bullpen for the Blue Jays as Lauer works here in the bottom of the fifth. The next batter is Geraldo Perdomo. Doubled in the first, and then Lauer struck him out in the fourth. And he's trying to bunt for a base hit, but he pushes it foul. We mentioned just a few minutes ago they've got 7 bunt hits. That was not a sacrifice attempt. That was a bunt for a base hit attempt.
They will keep the defense on their toes for sure. You just don't know when they might pull it out again.
Blue Jays just saw a whole bunch of this from Milwaukee the last couple of days. Probably the last thing they're in the mood for here, but Barossa has tried it. Perdomo has tried it. Lauer is going to bluff Marte back to the bag. Outside, it's even at 1-1.
Corbin has great speed at first base, but Marte, who doesn't have that speed, is kind of in his way at second base, so he's got to just lay back.
Heineman asked for the appeal, and yes, sir. Jim Wolf says he went around 1-2. Look back, and the pitch is fought off foul right side.
Perdomo will put the ball in play. He's not going to strike out a whole lot. So if you're Eric Lauer, you're just hoping he can hit it at one of your infielders.
Fouled straight back.
Tough to put away. Elevate the fastball, get him to chase, and he did, but still gets a piece of it.
I mean, that's Lauer's best velocity, really, 93, and that's up above the zone. That's exactly how he wanted to execute that pitch.
Probably just setting up this pitch now.
And now timeout requested by Perdomo. So Lauer's gone four-seamer, four-seamer, change-up, four-seamer, four-seamer in this at-bat.
You would think he'd go back soft.
A long hold, and again the 1-2. Fly ball to left field. Back to make the catch is Schneider. And it feels like Joe Lauer got that in on his hands just enough to keep him from really getting the good part of the bat on it.
Just enough because it was the cut fastball, wasn't the four-seam fastball, and it probably just cut in there enough. Target is inside, and this is where you want to miss. Don't miss on the plate. Miss in there just enough where he was trying to be quick to get to it, but clearly didn't get it all.
So that's the second out. Now the cleanup hitter, the first baseman, Jose Fernandez, the 22-year-old rookie we were telling you about a little bit earlier, who has been such a nice story for the Diamondbacks in the early going after not making the team out of spring training. He did make a very good impression in spring, though. The Diamondbacks, like the Blue Jays, had a number of players, a lot of players at the WBC, a number of infielders, and Fernandez can play all around the infield. So Torey Lovullo wrote his name onto the lineup card a lot in the spring, and even though he didn't make the team, he was called up shortly thereafter due to injuries. And he comes into the game. He's dropped below 300 now, but he came into the game at 306, a couple of home runs already.
Sounds like everything he hit all spring was 100 miles per hour, so very impressive. Two on, two out.
Couple of looks back by Lauer. And now the 1-1 fouled off. 1-2. That's another cutter in on the hands of a right-handed batter. That one was well in off the plate.
I think if anything, you want to almost stay out of the zone. Make him chase right here. This is a young hitter. He's eager to try to drive this run in. Whether it's that cutter up and in, change up down and away, but I'd stay out of the zone here. Make him expand.
Fastball up and away, fouled back. Without question, Eric Lauer looks like himself tonight. Looks like that the lingering effects of the flu that were still impacting him in his last start, that it's behind him now. Velocity is back to normal. Another 1-2 on the way, and it's hit hard up the middle, of base hit. Marte around third and will come in to score to give the Diamondbacks a 3-1 lead.
Well, it got a lot of the plate up top, not on the plate, but where he can get it. This is a big kid, and when you leave it up there, you're giving him something to square up. Still thought maybe they'd go away or down, something to make him expand, and they did expand, but we know Eric Lauer doesn't necessarily have that fastball to get tons of swing and miss up top.
So 2 runs here in the bottom of the 5th to give the Diamondbacks a 3-1 lead, and Spencer Miles has gotten up in the bullpen. The batter is Nolan Arenado, who homered off Lauer an inning ago. Pops it up foul, and this one will drift back into the seats.
I would think Lauer's best pitch in terms of trying to get that chase or something to expand would probably be his cutter. He'll use it across the top rail of the zone, whether it's in or away. But just something to get a young hitter like that to expand as opposed to a straight four-seam fastball.
Oh, 0-1, the count on Arenado. And a leap leaping catch made by Okamoto in foul territory for the 3rd out. But not before the Diamondbacks get a couple to break the tie. It's now Arizona leading the Blue Jays 3-1. A nice play by Okamoto for the 3rd out.
Feels to you as well like we have a low launch angle discussion with Guerrero about once a season. You're right again. Look at some of the other values in previous years along the graph here. For one reason or another, Guerrero just has a period with his swing each season when he goes through a bit of a ground ball slump. That's why a guy who is making some of the hardest contact, not only on the Blue Jays, but across the league, has depressed power production thus far. He's directing over half of that contact right into the ground.
Arden, thank you. And didn't have that in October, obviously. Everything was in the air. The numbers were enormous. That was Vladdy at his best. But as Arden says, and John Schneider's talked about it a lot over the last couple of days, there does seem to be one or two of these times every year where there are a lot of ground balls. And John Schneider was asked, is it timing? Is it because he's late? And the short answer is yes, it is timing with Guerrero. I guess the thing that I certainly don't understand, a lot of people probably wonder about, is why does it come and go, Joe? He seems to find it, but then he loses it, and then it takes a while to find it again. Why is that?
That's a very good question. I don't think anybody knows the answer, because that's what would make him one of the best players in all of Major League Baseball, and it's what's preventing him from being up in the discussion with the judges and Ohtani's, because that's the talent he has, quite frankly. We've seen him at his best. If he can keep that going, great hitter slump too. It's just what we see with Vladdy. He can still put up these numbers, get the hits, take his walks, but they're base hits. We talked about how desperately they need the slug right now, and they're missing it desperately. Timing is a critical word for every hitter, but it just matters so much with Vladdy because of the damage that he can do. And timing is, for me, 2 bad words for hitters: late, rushed. When you're late with your moves, he has a lot of moves in the batter's box, right? When those moves are late, now what you do is you have to hurry. And when you have to hurry, you rush and you fire the hands to try to play catch-up. When you're playing catch-up, you're generally coming over and around the baseball. That's giving it that launch down into the ground that Arden's referring to.
So it's obviously a lot harder of a thing to fix than maybe, but it's not as simple as start earlier. That's not.
That's where I would start the conversation. I'm sure it's already been there, but to get the player to actually do it. There are times as a hitter you can be told something, you can think you're putting it into action, but you're not quite doing it. You've got to watch film. And I'm sure they've poured over all kinds of video and want to make that move earlier, sooner, get to the position, and then now we know when he gets to his launch position, his move is usually great if he's there early enough and allows you to stay behind the baseball. When you're late and rushed, you're hurrying, so where's the body go? It takes off forward, and now you're smothering the ball.
And here's the amazing thing about Guerrero. He comes into the game on a 7-game hitting streak, hitting .444. And these are the conversations we're having because his ceiling is so incredibly high. And the other side of this, too, is the team is in desperate need of power right now. And he is obviously the most likely guy to supply it. Miles Straw is supplying it. He's hit it out. Straw coming on for Dalton Varsho a couple of innings ago, singled in his first at bat, and he homers here.
Well, it looked like one of those changeups. We don't normally see that right on right from Soroka. But it was up enough for Miles to get to it. No problem. Right to the barrel.
So it is 3-2. And here's Guerrero taking high, ball 1. You talked about, does anybody on their team embrace, understand their role better than Miles Straw? He knows he might not start a game for a week, but then somebody might tap him on the shoulder and say, you're in. Could be pinch running, could be defense, could be get a bunt down, could be taking over for an injured player. In his role, in his way, he is a valuable guy on this team.
I'm not sure I love this pitch from Soroka, and I'm sure Michael doesn't either, but you can see he's trying to keep the changeup away to get a hitter like Straw out front and around that pitch, but he missed up and in. It's the worst place you can miss, right on right with a changeup. Michael knows that better than anyone, but Miles Straw made him pay.
Guerrero again, that felt like it was a little bit off the end of the bat. That was a cutter away, and it's a one-hopper to short for the second out. And Vladdy now 0 for 3. John Schneider was also asked before the game, and you can see the frustration. We have seen it. It's undeniable. But John Schneider was asked, is Vladdy putting pressure on himself to produce? And Schneider, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, said he's in a pretty good place. He doesn't really feel that way, but we have seen visible frustration 3-4 times in the last several days.
To which I would say he's a human being.
Yeah.
We all have that emotion. You know, Vladdy wants to carry this team right now if he could, because he knows a lot of the big bats are missing, and it's his human emotion to do that, and he's struggling at that right now, but I can promise you he's going to get going. Of course, Blue Jays need to see it right away, because they're in a desperate time right now offensively, and just like they need to get George Springer back and Alejandro Kirk back and Addison Barger back.
Yep. The first of those to come back figures to be Springer, and it could be at the beginning of the homestand. I think he's technically eligible maybe the last day of this road trip, but he is starting to ramp up. He has been hitting in the cage. The running is going to come. Hasn't started running yet, the fractured left toe, but every day brings an encouraging kind of mini update from John Schneider about the steps that Springer is taking, hopefully towards getting back sooner rather than later. Miles Straw doing what he can. 385 feet. It got out in a hurry, and his home run brings the Blue Jays back within one. Hey, a full slate of Stanley Cup playoff hockey on Sportsnet tomorrow. And it all begins with the Sens and the Hurricanes at 2:30 Eastern. That is followed by the Wild and the Stars. And then Sidney Crosby and the Penguins facing the Flyers. We'll see the Blue Jays and the Diamondbacks on Sportsnet 1 tomorrow. Game starting a little bit earlier tomorrow, 8:10 Eastern time. That is a mighty hack there by Ildemaro Vargas, coming up empty. You take a swing like that and you miss, you use your timeout early in the at-bat. Already has a base hit tonight to extend his hitting streak to 13 games. Oh, 0-2. Spencer Miles is up for the second time. And one would imagine if it got around to the top of the order again that John Schneider would take Lauer out and not let him see Marte, Carroll, or Perdomo for a third time. Back to the mound. Easy play for Lauer. One down. Lots of things to do here at Chase Field.
Waiting for a home run ball.
Yeah.
Wait a few outs to the Blue Jays.
That's
are
right,
hitting, kids.
That is out in deep right center field. Here's James McCann, 0 for 2. 32,000 and change here tonight to open up this series. It's pretty good considering the Suns are playing a playoff game just down the street.
Drawing pretty well here from what we understand.
Well, they play a fun brand of baseball. They got a good team. They're going to get healthier as well. The biggest issue they probably have is they play in the National League West, and that's where the Dodgers are. And
you're fighting for a wild card.
Yeah. Dodgers already swept them to begin the season, and the Dodgers are up 7-1 on the Rockies right now. If LA wins that game, which looks like they will go to 15-4 on the season as Clement throws out McCann. And San Diego is having a great season as well. The Padres
fire.
They are on fire. They entered play today having won 7 in a row, but it looks like that might come to an end. They are trailing the Angels 6-0 in the 5th inning. Jose Soriano on the mound. He for the Angels. Blue Jays are going to see him, it looks like, on Wednesday,
right?
the last day of the road trip. He is no fun. But San Diego's got a good team. And one thing you know about the Padres, if they've got the lead going to the ninth, it's over.
Yeah, you don't want to pitch hit in those games.
Mason Miller breaking records left, right, and center. So the Blue Jays, as we mentioned, will see the Angels at the end of the road trip. How about Mike Trout? Hit 5 home runs in the 4-game series they just finished up at Yankee Stadium.
There's a New Jersey kid you think he likes playing in New York?
That's right.
Does he wear a Yankee uniform before his career is over? What do you think?
I think he's an angel forever.
You think so?
I think he's an angel forever.
He's kind of committed to that, I guess, right? So
he's signed forever, right? I think he is. But if he's healthy, that's good for the game.
Great for the game. Great to see a Mike Trout healthy.
The Angels actually could have swept that 4-game series. They split it. Jordan Romano is the Angels closer, and he had been really, really, really good until the Yankee series, and blew not 1 but 2 saves in that game. So they ended up splitting the 4-game series.
We will see Jordan in a couple of days.
2-2 the count on Tim Tawa. Fouled back again. .82 pitches now for Lowry. He's gone 4 2/3 after Fisher worked the first inning as the opener. And this is lifted to shallow right. Jesus Sanchez circling underneath it and makes the catch, and it's a 3-up, 3-down, bottom of the 6th for Lowry. Are you a Rogers customer? It's Canada's winning inning. When the Blue Jays get a hit in this winning inning, you could win amazing prizes courtesy of Rogers Beyond the Sea. Top 7, 3-2 Diamondbacks. Michael Soroka still on the mound. Lenine Sosa leads it off and hits a fly ball to right field. Carroll tracking it and makes the play, and quickly 1 out.
Well, Michael Soroka clearly has good stuff, but you can see clearly what his game plan is. It's a lot of hard up and in to the lefties and soft away with the slurve and changeup. These righties, he's running the odd sinker in there, but the 4-seamer up, cutter away. Again, hard stuff more up and the slurve down.
Soroka is the 2nd Canadian to play against the Blue Jays as a Diamondback. Josh Naylor the other. Soroka, 1st-round pick. Up until about age 13, played as much hockey as he did baseball, but eventually decided to pursue baseball, and I think he made a very good choice.
I think so too.
Although he probably, who knows, he might have been an NHLer. Who knows how good he was.
Be a real big hockey player.
Big, strong lad. Yeah, about 6'5", 240.
Jeez.
He'd have been mixing it up in the corners. That is your 2-strike swing right there by Jimenez to just flick it foul and get another pitch.
And there's that. We've seen it already in this at-bat to Jimenez. Hard up with the 4-seamer. Change away right there.
That one more center cut. Jimenez fouls that one off as well.
Probably one that elevated a little bit more with 2 strikes to Jimenez. Mike's got a much lower arm angle this year, and that could be helping his effectiveness as well.
Down the 3rd baseline, Arenado cannot quite get there. Miles has been joined by Louis Varland in the bullpen. top of the order looms for the Diamondbacks. Barossa, the number 9 hitter, is going to lead it off, but then Marte and Carroll, and if anybody were to reach, Perdomo after that. John Schneider likes deploying Louis Varland in the stickiest of situations. That's a fair ball. It got past Fernandez, the first baseman, and Jimenez is on his way to second, and the ball went out of play, I believe, or did it? He's out at third, but the umpires are signaling a fan might have touched it or something happened down in the corner.
It's the ball boy, Dan. The ball person down the right field line thought it was a foul ball, so they went for the baseball and touched it. And I think the home plate umpire, Alan Porter, might have been the only one that saw it. We saw Jim Wolf, the first base umpire, signal fair, but I think Alan Porter, the home plate umpire, is the only one that saw the person down the right field line touch it. So that's when his arms went up.
Jimenez looked back and pointed right away as well.
See, Wolf points fair, but then he's looking toward the runner.
Yeah, Wolf didn't see it in live time. It definitely hit his glove and his leg.
Oh, he tried to catch it, thought it was foul. Poor guy, not only is he on national television, but he also didn't make the play. And I think what the Blue Jays are fighting for here is a triple.
We have interference by an authorized personnel on the field. We place the runner at second base.
So Jimenez is placed at second base. You know what's interesting? I'm looking at a rule, and I got to be careful.
Because it's an authorized person on the field.
It's an authorized person, but there is a difference between someone attempting to touch it or getting hit by it inadvertently. Those are two different situations. The fact that he went after the ball makes it a dead ball, puts him at second. If it had hit him, he's authorized to be on the field.
The ball's alive.
And the umpires, I believe, have the discretion to make it a live ball. But because he went after the ball, it is a dead ball. And it's a double for Jimenez.
He's trying to blame the other guy.
Yeah. Here's Kazuma Okamoto. It is 2-0. And James McCann to the mound. It looks like the Diamondbacks bullpen is busy now. Jonathan Loaizaga, very familiar to the Blue Jays from his time with the Yankees. Ooh. Okamoto decides not to challenge that one, and that looked like it might have been down or away or both. Both teams have both of their ABS challenges remaining. And now he's popped it up. Perdomo at short, 2 down. Sometimes the non-challenge is as impactful as the challenge.
Yeah, and we've seen Okamoto be wrong and maybe tentative to do that again. And sure enough, you swing at the next pitch away and pop it up.
So 2 down. Here's Ernie Clement. 1 for 2. Again, the one that double that Tawa lost in the twilight. Jimenez out at second, representing the tying run here in the 7th. Jimenez is way out there, and there he goes. Ernie's taken all the way, and Jimenez will steal third. I mean, he had 4 hop steps to get going. Soroka didn't check him.
He didn't even give him another look.
Meanwhile, it's 0-2 on Clement.
It's not the worst thing that can happen to you as having the runner steal third there with 2 outs with a right-handed batter. Most managers don't want that third baseman leaving their defensive spot anyway. Some teams will just eat that ball even if he does try to steal third. Get the batter to 2 down.
Soroka out in front, 0-2. Tried to get Clement to chase that slur, but he wouldn't. That goes foul. Clement just trying to find some green, as they say. Just line one, poke one, flick one, anything. Get it through the infield and tie the game. But he can't do it. There's that cutter away again. A good pitch for Soroka tonight. And Jimenez is stranded at third. Have you ever dreamed of throwing out the first pitch at a Blue Jays game? Now is your chance. That's just one of 20 can't miss prizes up for grabs during the latest Jays Care 50-50 jackpot. Plus, you could take home the grand prize. As you can see, it is already at $379,000. Get your tickets now, bluejays.com/5050 from any of Alberta, Ontario, New Brunswick, or Nova Scotia. We got Blue Jay fans from all over the place here tonight in Arizona. It's a 1-run game. The Blue Jays just got a runner as far as third, couldn't cash him in. And it'll be Spencer Miles entering the game here in the bottom of the 7th.
It's been almost a week for Miles. He last pitched when he came out of the bullpen for Eric Lauer. It was last Saturday against the Twins. Lauer was able to get into the 6th, even though things didn't go well. Spencer Miles went 3 2/3 shutout innings through 43 pitches, so really built up as that long man in the Blue Jays bullpen.
First hitter for him is the center fielder Jorge Barrosa, who looks at a strike. Barrosa, a fly ball to center, bunted into a fielder's choice and scored back in the 5th. So after Barrosa, Miles is going to face the top of the order, Marte and Carroll. Remember, Spencer Miles is a Rule 5 pick, meaning the Blue Jays have to keep him on the active roster the entire season, or they could lose him back to the Giants, his previous organization. But he has made a very favorable impression. The stuff is good, and as you said, he can go 2-3. He went 3 2/3 last time out. There is value in that.
Absolutely. Both fastballs, 4-seamer and sinker in the mid-90s. He can bury the curveball down there. He's got a slider as well. The stuff, it all look really good. It all looks good. All the pitches. He'll love to sink it down, but ride that 4-seamer up. But the curveball is a devastating pitch. That's his wipeout pitch if he can get Barrosa to chase.
Fouled back. And I think it speaks to the growing confidence the Blue Jays have in him. I mean, yeah, he was kind of last guy to make the bullpen because of the circumstances, Rule 5 draft and all that. But this is a 1-run game, and they're putting him in there.
And everyone's available tonight. The bullpen's pretty much good to go. He hasn't got tons of swing and miss this season with that curveball, but we saw a lot of it in the spring. I think it's got the potential for that.
Swing and a miss right there on a fastball with a lot of movement on it. That's the 2-seamer as he gets him for out number 1.
bit more of a runner the way that ball took off. He's trying to come in, I think, and he missed the other side of the plate, but you could just see it taken off away from his left-handed batter.
The story has been told, but numerous injuries, back surgery, Tommy John surgery, just had barely been able to pitch as a professional. He only had 14 2/3 innings, covering 2 different seasons before he went to the Arizona Fall League, where the Blue Jays scouted him, liked him, eventually drafted him. He's already pitched now 9 2/3 innings here this year. He's going to pitch more this year, way more this year, hopefully, than he ever has before.
Better job there. Heineman wanted that fastball back inside to the left-handed batter, but he missed in there. Really made sure he got it in there that time.
Ketel Marte 1 for 3, singled and scored in the 5th. 96, that's pretty typical. That's about where Spencer Miles' fastball will sit. Out in front, 1-2. And that is past the dive of Jimenez into left center. It'll be a base hit for Marte.
Slider that time from Miles, that kind of just stayed up and out over the plate. And Marte shoots it over just past that outstretched glove of Jimenez with a left-handed batter. Of course, the shortstop shading the middle. He had a long way to go to his right.
Runner at first, 1 out for Corbin Carroll. 1 for 3, had an RBI single his last time up. How does a guy this size, 5'10", 170, generate as much force with his swing as he does? He hits the ball hard.
Yeah, I think it gets back to being very efficient with your body. That's what great athletes do. They really control their body, and I think his moves in the batter's box are as efficient as they come.
Bob Brenly, who is part of the broadcast crew for the Diamondbacks, was the manager of the Diamondbacks when they won the World Series in 2001. Visited us in our booth before the game and talked about how the fans go nuts here when Carroll hits a ball in the alley. They know he's going to go for 3. Reminds me of like Tony Fernandez, Devon White back in the day with the Blue Jays. Not many guys hit many triples anymore, but the combination of his bat to ball skills, his speed, and this being a good triples ballpark, it happens fairly. He had 17 triples last year. Nobody has 17 triples.
No.
2-2.
With Carroll too, it's the anticipation of it, because as soon as you see a ball leave the bat and it's to one side of the center fielder going anywhere toward those 2 4-13 signs, it's triples alley. So the fans are on it, he's on it, and it's a fun. Triples one of the more fun plays to watch in baseball, I'd say.
Heineman wants to head to the mound with the count 3-2. Perdomo on deck.
This could just be a case of Heineman with a younger, inexperienced pitcher out there trying to give him a breath, understanding we're in a very difficult part of the lineup here, trying to do everything you can to keep this a 3-2 game.
The Blue Jays losing consecutive 2-1 games to Milwaukee the last couple of days. And 7-11 on the season.
That's true.
That is true.
It's true.
Big pitch here for Miles. Runner not going, and it's ball 4, and there are 2 men on now for the Diamondbacks.
Just feel with the way the Blue Jays bats have been lately, you cannot afford to give up another run. Miles has to find a way, even if it's a ground ball. See if they can't roll one.
Perdomo 1 for 3, had a double in the first. Switch hitter batting from the left side. Curveball for a strike. Bounce to first, tricky hop for Guerrero. He makes the play and gets the out as the runners advance.
Well, Vladdy did the right thing right here. This is a very tricky hop, and you have to be very careful because this could have ended up in right field, but it looked like he just tried to smother it and surround it and make sure that he just got the one out.
So it's second and third, 2 down for Jose Fernandez, 1 for 3. Fernandez with an RBI single in the 5th. It was Fernandez, you were talking about it. He went up, got that high fastball from Eric Lauer and lined it into center field.
It's just the situation with a young hitter like this. The last thing I want to see is any fastball that he can reach. It doesn't even have to be in the zone. One of your secondary pitches where you get him to try to chase.
Slider for a strike, 0-1. Missed off the corner. Three-two Diamondbacks, bottom 7. Outside, ball 2. Nice job by Heineman. Remember, there's a runner at third.
Tyler has to be still ready here. You've got a young pitcher out there. You can see he's kind of yanking a few of those pitches. Some are being pulled straight down. Some are being pulled glove side to Tyler's right.
Better execution there on that breaking ball. It's 2-2.
So here we are in that same situation. It's just you can't give a hitter like this up in the strike zone. You've got the open base. This is sure the kind of guy you want to probably get with Arenado on deck, but you can't give him a pitch to hit here.
So you're calling a slider.
Absolutely. It looks like Heineman right there. He may be looking in the bench. Sometimes he'll take a peek in. Maybe there's a suggestion coming. That's a decoy, I bet.
No, fastball, but he missed outside, ball 3.
Pulled it. Sometimes they'll go fake glove up top and go slider away.
Arenado on deck. The 3-2. Bounce to first. Guerrero's got this one. And they can't get the out. It slipped out of his glove and rolled towards the bag, and the Diamondbacks get a run. An error on Guerrero, the 3rd error of the night committed by the Blue Jays, and this one is costly.
Well, he had it, he gloved it, but he did not get the transfer to his throwing hand, and Spencer Miles did everything he could to try to pick it up and touch the bag at the same time, but he comes up empty.
And some of the things we have seen and talked about, when you're swinging the bats great, you can play around some of the other stuff if you have a base running mistake or an error, but boy, when you're not hitting, everything seems magnified. And the defense has not been as good as it was last year or as good as it needs to be. And Guerrero, by and large, has been very good this year.
He's been good at first base, yeah.
He just made that play right now that cost them a run.
I thought Spencer made a pretty good pitch to a guy that we said try to get out there with the slider, and he did. He got him to hit a weak ground ball.
First and third for Arenado. Lined into right center, and this is trouble. Another run's going to come in. Fernandez will be held at third on a single by Arenado, and it's now 5-2.
It's a good piece of hitting by a veteran hitter, and you know very well Arenado's been watching this inning. He knows the slider's his big pitch, and it looked like he just sat on it, really stayed back on that pitch, driving it the other way.
Joe Mantiply's now up. The batter is Ildemaro Vargas. Both of the runs this inning unearned, because had Guerrero made the play, that would have been the third out. Inning would have been over. Two. Ground ball to the right side. Clement on to Guerrero for the third out. The Diamondbacks get two and lead 5-2 now at the end of 7. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update as we send you back to the studio with Jamie Campbell and Jason Grilli. Well, there have been many iconic home runs throughout the 50 seasons of the Blue Jays franchise, and now is your chance to have 5 of them on one t-shirt. On May 11th, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays Legendary Home Runs t-shirt presented by Ryobi. Learn more at bluejays.com/tickets. Michael Soroka is done for the night, and the Calgary native continues to build upon what he has done already this year. He is off to a very good start this season.
He did a very nice job, really rebounded nicely from that last game where he gave up 4 early, corrected things, and he's right back on track now. It's Jonathan Loaisiga is the choice out of the bullpen from Torey Lovullo. Know his name very well all those years against the New York Yankees.
With the Yankees for parts of 8 seasons. Tyler Heineman leading it off. And one thing Loaisiga has always had is a lot of velocity on that fastball.
4-seamer and sinker. He's got both of them. It'll be in that 97 range. Change-ups to lefties and mixing the cutters away to righties.
Heineman hits it well to right field, and that's down for a base hit. Carroll gets to it quickly to hold him to a single.
Well, it's got to feel good for Tyler back there all night. He knows this team needs base runners right now, and they are finally into the Diamondbacks bullpen. It's been a good bullpen, but anytime you can get a starter out of there, it's mission accomplished.
Here's Nathan Lucas to pinch hit for Davis Schneider. John Schneider talked about Nathan Lucas for a fair bit today with the media before the game, and told us something we hadn't heard before. Said Nathan Lucas has been grinding through it physically. He was asked for more detail, and he said just a few things, baseball type of stuff. And somebody said, would it necessitate a possible IL stint? He said no. He goes, I wouldn't have let him off if a couple of days ago if that were the case. There's a ground ball base hit through the right side for a guy who really needed one in Lucas, and the Blue Jays now have the first 2 men on.
Well, taking advantage of the opportunity. We've seen John Schneider do this with his lineup very often, where you'll bring in a Schneider to face the lefty or a Lucas to face the righty. Tyler does a nice job dodging that baseball. A couple runners on to get things going.
and he's probably like, I thought I would never get a hit again. And whatever was said to him by Mark Budzinski, you know, he could say that. But it's been a tough start to the year for Lucas. But they've got 2 on, nobody out. Miles Straw is up. This is Dalton Varsho's spot. If you weren't with us earlier, Varsho left the game in the 3rd inning with left knee discomfort. Yet another injury for the Blue Jays. We don't know the severity. Miles Straw, though, all he's done since he's come in is single and homer in his 2 at-bats.
Well, it's one pitch Michael Soroka would love to have back. He's going to throw that changeup down and away to righties more effectively. That's where he wanted it to go, and it leaked back over the inside part of the plate.
Looks at a fastball for a strike. 2 on, nobody out. Straw up, Guerrero on deck. Grounded up the middle. They'll get one and still turn the double play. Even though Vargas couldn't come up with it cleanly, Perdomo did eventually, and they're laughing about it. That is a wild double play that they somehow still managed to turn.
Well, there's a basketball game in town tonight too, and they look like the Phoenix Suns.
Wow. A great play by Perdomo. That will go as a 4-6-3 double play.
Just a reaction too by the shortstop. The ball is bobbled, popped up in the air, and he just scoops it up on the way.
2 big outs. Heineman comes to third. But boy, it feels like the Blue Jays had maybe the makings of a big inning going, and now suddenly 2 down. For Guerrero, who has had a frustrating night, 0 for 3 at the plate. We saw him show that frustration in the dugout after his last at bat, and then the error last half inning that eventually allowed 2 runs to score. Broken bat, center field, base hit. He'll take it, and it's 5-3.
He'll take it all right. The Blue Jays will take it. Take runs any way they can get them right now. Back within 2 here late. Something they've done pretty well all season long in the later innings. Need them to keep coming.
Guerrero's 8th RBI on the season to make it a 2-run game, and here's Jesus Sanchez. Sanchez representing the tying run. Late on the fastball. Good swing, but just late on 98, and it's 0-1.
We said Loaiska will use that changeup also against lefties, but if you're Jesus Sanchez, you're trying to get the bat head out right here. He has the power to be able to tie this game up 1 swing of the bat.
In the Blue Jays pen, Joe Mantiply still up. Jeff Hoffman is up alongside him. Suggesting if they get a run or 2 or whatever the situation would be, Hoffman would come in the bottom of the 8th to face the bottom of the order, and that Louis Varland is being held back to face the top of the order and or work the 9th inning.
That's what it looks like to me, Dan.
It feels. Yeah, that's what it feels like. One ball, 2 strikes on Sanchez, who continues to be about as expressive in the batter's box as any player we've seen around here in years. Saw Varland up in the 7th, and again that was when the top of the order was coming up, but they didn't get the run to tie it, so John Schneider went to Miles. Looks like John Schneider really wants Louis Varland for those top 3 guys in the lineup. And not that the other guys aren't good, but there are some lineups where you look at it and like 3 or 4 guys kind of really jump out at you, and this is one of those lineups.
Well, absolutely, and anytime you're looking at the top half of the lineup, those are the big boys coming up when you want your best on best.
The 1-2 fouled back by Sanchez.
This was interesting. After Tyler Heineman finished his at bat and came around, he had a little information for Sanchez here. They're always trying to share things. He's probably just giving him a little something maybe on what that sinker from Loaiska is doing, because Tyler saw 2 of them. Now he's just got to catch up to it, though.
Down and in, 2-2.
I think Jesus Sanchez is getting more and more demonstrative by the day.
Yeah. Got an awkward swing there on a changeup up and away. The Blue Jays get one, and it's now 5-3 Diamondbacks. On Sunday, it's game one of what should be a great series. It'll be the Habs and the Lightning hitting the ice with coverage getting underway at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, right here on Sportsnet. What a great shot of Chase Field here in downtown Phoenix. Dan Schulman, Joe Siddall, Arden Zwelling, Diamondbacks 5, Blue Jays 3. Former Diamondback Joe Mantiply now on the mound.
Joe Mantiply spent 6 years in a Diamondbacks uniform. He was an all-star back in 2022. A 2.85 ERA in 69 games out of the bullpen. And the Blue Jays have called upon him, now 35 years old, to help them in their bullpen from the left side.
He will start James McCann with a strike here in the bottom of the 8th. Defensive changes. Nathan Lucas remains in the game in right. Jesus Sanchez over to left. Bounced foul, 0-2.
Good change up there from Mantiply. That's a big pitch for him against right-handed batters.
That's going to get through for a base hit. A leadoff single for McCann, bottom 8.
McCann got him on the changeup, and that is a good pitch for Mantiply, and he goes out and off the plate away to come around this ball. Didn't necessarily hit it real well, but found a hole up the middle.
Leadoff single, and now here is Tim Tawa, the left fielder, 0 for 2 with a walk. Outside, ball 1. 5 runs, 9 hits for the Diamondbacks, 3 runs, 8 hits, and 3 errors for the Blue Jays in this game tonight. This is headed for the alley in left center. And all the way to the wall. McCann is getting the wave. There will be no throw, and it is 6-3.
Diamondbacks wasting no time getting that run back. It's another changeup, but it's right in the middle of the plate. And Tawa, who's been really struggling, needed that one. Cashing in the big catcher.
Here's Barossa. The Blue Jays are in on the corners, and he does indeed try to bunt as he bunts it foul. Tawa at second, nobody out. Mantiply a look back in his direction. This time Barossa does not square, and he takes ball 1. Paul Sewald, the closer for the Diamondbacks, is up. A save situation right now won't be if the Diamondbacks get any more. He squares and bunts it foul again, 1-2. Tough times right now for the Blue Jays. Not swinging the bats great, not playing great defense. A lot of injuries, and you add all of that up, and it's a 7-11 record, maybe 7-12 unless they can figure out a way to come back in this one. You see, with 2 strikes, he's going to get it down. Mantiply to first, and it is just in time, but Barossa is telling the dugout that he thinks he beat it out. And did Barossa getting down the line? You know, Vladdy had to reach into the path of the runner a little bit. There's no challenge. The out is recorded, but it looked like Vladdy had to reach into the path of the runner to get the throw. And was there a little inadvertent contact?
Was it the ball hitting him in the glove in the hand, or was it the runner where the throw is?
Or the foot? It's hard to tell. Maybe it was just the ball.
You see Vladdy's got his left foot on the first base bag. He's trying to give the pitcher a lane away from the runner to throw it, but Mantiply's throw was indeed into the run. I think it's the way he caught the ball. Sometimes when you catch that ball, it's going to get you on your hand at the bottom of your index finger or second finger, right on that bone. Looks like he's feeling his first two fingers. Yeah, it's just the ball took his glove back, and that's what probably bent his finger. There was no contact with the runner.
Yeah. And you could see him grimacing right away.
Yeah, right there at the base of your index finger.
He is going to stay in the game. Yeah, bent the finger back. You can see, I don't know who he was showing that to, but the throw bent his index finger back. So the infield comes in with a runner at third, one out, and the top of the order up now, Ketel Marte. That's a fair ball. A fair ball, and Okamoto makes the play to get Marte 2 down. I don't know where you were looking at, Joe. I was looking at both umpires back and forth, waiting for somebody to make a signal, but Okamoto does the right thing. Go get the ball and throw the guy out.
It looked like Alan Porter, the home plate umpire, was pointing to Alex McKay, the third base umpire, saying, "You call it, you call it." Okamoto catches it in front.
Oh, clearly fair. Yeah.
Clearly fair.
Yeah.
But I wonder if because Porter thought the runner was impeding his umpire there, he wanted to help him out.
Because it is the home plate umpire's call until the ball gets to the base. So 2 down. Here's Corbin Carroll. 1 for 3, had an RBI single in the 5th, walked and scored in the 7th. And now Paul Sewald has been joined by Andrew Hoffman down to the bullpen. If the Diamondbacks tack on a couple more, then Torey Lovullo will not use his closer here tonight. Busts him inside, ball 2. In there, 2-2. We still haven't had a single pitch challenged in this game.
Nothing.
No. Vladdy's still looking at that finger. Alan Porter is a good ball and strike umpire. Swing and a miss. Carroll strikes out. The Diamondbacks get 1, and it will take a 3-run lead to the top of the 9th. Fans, get in on the action and join District Drops, the Blue Jays SMS program for surprise ticket offers, exclusive pre-sale access, and first dibs to outfield district ticket drops, all delivered straight to your phone. Join, text Blue Jays to 25835 or visit bluejays.com/district drops to learn more. You're watching Rogers Friday Night Blue Jays baseball presented by McCain, and the Blue Jays need at least 3 here in the 9th inning to avoid their 3rd consecutive defeat. Paul Sewald, the closer for the Diamondbacks, is on. 36-year-old guy. He has been around. Second stint with Arizona. Signed with them in the offseason after splitting last year between Cleveland and Detroit. 6 saves already this year. Lenine Sosa leading it off, with Andres Jimenez and Kazuma Okamoto after him, and a pop-up for Arenado. 1 down.
Well, he's not going to walk you. He earned his 6th save on Tuesday. No walks and 10 strikeouts in his 7 1/3 innings so far this season. In 2 pitches, it's the four-seam fastball and the sweeper. And like you said, not overpowering, 91-92 with it, but it is a funky arm angle, short arms in, and he's down by the side.
You hear the term invisible with Seawald, like that. I mean, and as you said, the arm angle, and he's got ride, and it's just a little bit weird, and it's 92, and they have trouble squaring it up. He's been with the Mets, the Mariners, twice with the Diamondbacks, the Guardians, and the Tigers as well. 92 career saves, had 34 back in 2023. Fly ball off the bat of Jimenez, shallow left center, out number 2.
James Wan and Blumhouse bring you a new terrifying horror in Lee Cronin's The Mummy, now playing only in theaters.
The Blue Jays down to their final out here in Arizona, and looking at dropping 5 games under 500 here early in the season. And to compound it, Dalton Varsho leaves the game with left knee discomfort. And then Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has something after taking that throw, has some discomfort in his left index finger. Hopefully that is nothing serious. John Schneider will likely provide more information on Varsho, but Joe, on just about every level imaginable right now, the Blue Jays are going through it.
You can never explain how things happen in baseball, and as good a ride as that was last year in the second half of the season and into October, things have not gone any worse. Taking a 180.
Fouled off by Okamoto. And all you can do is lace him up and go play again tomorrow.
Every day.
Yep.
You just hope that the volume of games, it turns any day, become ready each day, hoping that's going to be the day it happens.
Swing and a miss to end the ball game. The Diamondbacks stay hot, and the Blue Jays' struggles continue. 3 losses in a row, and now 7-12 on the season, 4-12 in their last 16 games. The final score here at Chase Field in Phoenix: the Diamondbacks 6 and the Blue Jays 3. We're back with you again tomorrow night. Max Scherzer will be on the mound. Time now to go to Sportsnet Central.